Welcome, everyone. I am so glad you are here. We are going to start with our gut healthy calls, and tonight's topic is eating clean and how to take simple steps that will allow you to eat well so you feel well. And that's the key thing, because we're talking about energy that goes into our system, right? All right, so eating clean supports gut health. It's a lifestyle that you develop over time with small changes each time you go grocery shopping. We have 4 topics that we're going to cover tonight. Mindful choices and how you plan for cleaner eating, how to clean and some suggestions for cleaning your fridge and pantry, and then how to create your grocery cart, a healthier version of your grocery cart, and then ultimately how and when we eat those things that we've chosen to add to our healthier lifestyle. So let's look at our choices and planning. And the real question is, what does your current diet look like? And where can you make improvements? Examine your diet in the light of these following questions. What do you currently eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Can you replace some of those processed foods like bread and muffins and bagels and processed breakfast cereals with nutrient-rich sprouted whole foods such as brown rice, quinoa, or millet? Cooked whole grains are a great source of vitamins and minerals, as well as fiber to aid digestion and elimination, and they provide sustained, balanced energy. What beverages do you drink over the course of a regular day? We know that hydration is really key to keeping our body processing nutrients and toxins through and out of the body. But can you replace some of those diet sodas with a fruit-infused water? Reduce the effects of coffee, alcohol, or other dehydrating drinks by drinking a glass of water before, during, and after those drinks? Or shift from regular coffee to organic coffee? Remember that pure water is the best beverage choice for your body. And how many servings of organic fresh fruits and vegetables are you consuming every day? Can you add 1 or 2 more of each to significantly improve your diet? You know, eating organic will fortify your body with the minerals and vitamins that are usually depleted in non-organic pesticide-filled vegetables or fruits. So what do you eat? What do you eat after your meals? You know, dessert or late night snacking, right? Empty sugar-like calories that please your palate, but place a toxic load on the digestive system before bed when the body is trying to rest and repair itself is not a good thing. You want to make sure that you're reducing the toxic load in your digestive system when you go to bed so that the body can more efficiently repair and restore itself. So the best is not to eat a couple hours before you go to bed. However, if you want that dessert, look to something filled with nutrition and enzymes that can break down a lot easier and still satisfy your desire. So any fresh or frozen organic type of fruits or vegetables are perfect examples. Blueberries, raspberries, celery, any of those things, and sprinkled with a little bit of cinnamon will certainly make a huge difference with your palate and satisfying your desire for late night snacking, right? So the best way to start a new or revitalized health regime is to provide yourself with healthy options to choose from and minimize the access to unhealthy options, right? So how do we start that? Here's a quick checklist. Get rid of any old or expired foods. And this should be the first thing to go. The last thing you want to do is expose yourself to outdated food that could contain mold or toxins, right? In addition to getting rid of the old food, take note of exactly what it is that you buy and end up never using, right? And that usually happens during holiday time or when we have gatherings and people coming over to eat or such. You know, we tend to buy more things or extras. This will ultimately save you money as well as keep your pantry clean and decluttered. Only buy and have in your fridge and your cupboard, your pantry, those things that you know you will use. Another thing is chemical-based supplements. This is a good time to toss any that contain synthetic ingredients and fillers. Supplements are designed to fill the gaps in your diet and nourish your body, and synthetic ingredients or fillers have no place in that equation. Junk food. This is one that seems a bit obvious, but we know it. We shouldn't eat junk food, but it usually ends up in our pantry from time to time. So go ahead and give yourself permission to toss out the junk food and look at healthier alternatives to that junk food. And we'll talk about that in a little bit here. And then food ingredients from past diets. It's completely normal to try out a few different diet plans. And along the way, you're likely to collect a few ingredients specific to that particular diet plan. And if those ingredients or foods no longer fit your current meal plan, toss them out because they're just going to sit there accumulating dust and potential mold and toxins, right? So after going through this exercise, your pantry may look a little bare, but that's okay because the second step in this process is to restock with foods that provide your body with nourishment and satisfy your taste buds. But first, before we do that, let's also take a look at what additional things we need to eliminate. So the goal in eliminating fake foods is to give your body real nourishment with powerful live nutrients. And fake foods come in a variety of forms: chips, dips, dressings, candies, cereal. And the worst part of these fake foods often try to pose as whole foods by, with advertising that they're made with whole wheat, or some use sort of whole ingredients, or enriched is the great term that's used. And for years, we've observed how people shop in grocery stores. They fill their grocery carts with fortified cereals, prepackaged foods, frozen dinners, and convenience foods with little or no nutritional value. I'm going to repeat this. They have little or no nutritional value. It's not a judgment because we live with very busy schedules. So we do what is most convenient, right? But at the cost of effective, nutrient-rich fuel for our bodies. So the key thing to remember is that these foods are difficult to digest because they don't contain their own nutrients and digestive qualities, and therefore can remain in your intestinal tract, creating a condition of what's called putrefaction. That sounds gross, right? Well, it is, because putrefaction means that it gets stored, it gets impacted in your digestive tract, and it kills the necessary intestinal nutrients for a healthy GI tract, for a healthy gut. And that's our first line of defense. So when you gas your car, you want to make sure it has the right fuel in order to make your trip efficient. And that's the same with the body. Look at this list. There are a lot of things on here that are just have no life force at all. They've been cooked out, they've been processed, they've had preservatives, all types of things. So it's important to be mindful of this list. And no matter what your diet preferences are, whether they're vegan, paleo, keto, so on, here's a whole food list that will help you make good choices. So you keep in mind that this is not the end all or be all list, but it shows the variety that we can choose from. Look at the vegetables and the fruits and the protein and the legumes and even the fats and the oils that are good for us, nuts, and a variety of things that we can add to our pantry and our fridge. A few things like whole and sprouted grains, stock up on foods like quinoa, oats, brown rice, dried legumes. They're a fantastic source of protein, minerals, and some vitamins. Healthy spices and herbs are a good way to make things interesting and change the flavor on the foods that you're making or eating. Healthy snack alternatives. These include things like nuts and seeds and dried fruits And that could mean getting organic popcorn versus regular, or using carrot sticks in place of those regular chips that you usually have. Lots of celery or cucumbers are really good sources of snacking too. Healthy cooking oils with options like coconut oil, avocado oil, or olive oil. It's nice to actually have all three because they don't break down when you're using them for cooking. They're a great source of omega-3s, fatty acids, and very healthy for the system. All right. And natural food-based supplements that typically contain whole nutrients your body can identify and utilize, because the body is designed to use whole foods, right? And blue-green microalgae superfoods are a great choice because they can be used in protein shakes, smoothies, juices, and you just want to make sure they're high quality and wild. And edible blue-green microalgae is always my choice because I know that I'm getting a full spectrum of nutrition into my body. All right, and when you're in the store and you're looking, do you buy organic? Do you buy non-organic? This is a great guide. It's produced by EWG, which stands for Environmental Working Group. And each year they test produce and vegetables for toxic levels of chemical pesticide residue. They make no claim to which foods are healthy in your diet, only that you need to be mindful when you're shopping for the amount of potential chemical residue in the foods that we eat, right? So they divide the list into two categories. One is the clean 15 and the other is the dirty dozen. The clean 15 are fruits and vegetables that are safe to purchase because they've been tested to contain little or no pesticide residue. So it's safe to purchase commercial as well as organic. Things like avocados, broccoli, cabbage, onions, cauliflower. You can see that they're a little bit denser in nature, so the pesticide residue is less. The dirty 12 are fruits and vegetables that contain higher pesticide residue. So it's actually best to buy these fruits and vegetables organic. Things like strawberries, cherries, peppers, celery. You can see that they're much more water-based foods, which is where the pesticides usually collect in the water and the ground soil when these fruits and vegetables are being grown, right? So keep in mind that the list does not take into account whether the fruit or vegetable is GMO. Foods likely to be GMO are things like corn and pineapples, in which case then you buy local homegrown organic. So the hot tip here is, when in doubt, when you're in the store and you're trying to choose between organic and commercial, always buy local farm produce that's organic. It's always a good choice. So gut health actually begins in your grocery cart. And what you put in your grocery cart will impact your health. A lack of energy, focus, and mental clarity is directly correlated to your daily food choices, right? We must fuel our engine, our bodies, with the best whole foods, positive thoughts, and effective actions to gain vitality in the long run. So start by making a list. Having a list when you go into the store keeps you from wandering in the store, grabbing things you really don't need. And a really good suggestion is to go into the store not when you're hungry, but after you've had a meal, because your body is already satisfied and you're not going to be grabbing things that you want to eat right then and there, right? Also, shop mostly from the outside perimeter of the store. That's usually where the fresh produce is. The fruits and vegetables are located. And then look for the aisles that contain what we call health foods. And a lot of the mainstream grocery stores these days are carrying more organic and healthier versions, healthier foods. Sometimes they have a dedicated aisle called health foods. Other times they're putting healthier versions of our like crackers and sauces and things like that right in the aisles with the regular crackers and sauces and things like that. So it's important for you to read labels when you're purchasing sauces, nut butters, canned goods, crackers. Buy only those items with fewer ingredients and no sugar. And you can find them. You can find them. It just takes a little bit of time for you to go through and really look at what's in your store. Look at where they're located and where you can find them. It's time to be mindful because what you put in your body ultimately will make a difference. If you feel lousy now, how do you think you're going to feel 1, 3, or 5 years from now if you continue to put, junk in? And you're going to get junk out, right? So you want to make smaller, better alternatives. There's choices, healthier choices that you want to be making. All right. So how do we eat? How and when we eat also will support our gut health. Proper diet involves more than what we eat. After you clean out your fridge and your pantry and you've restocked everything, it also involves how we eat. And experts advise us to chew more during each meal. In general, most people keep eating until they feel full, but start paying attention to the messages from your stomach. You can actually learn to be satisfied with eating to 75 to 80% fullness. And this is much healthier for you in the long run. Relax, take your time, and slow down while you eat. Number one cause of indigestion and associated problems is eating too fast or eating on the run, like in the car or standing up in the kitchen and gulping our foods down and our waters down, right? Sitting down and then taking a deep breath before you start your meal will always help. And when you slow down, you give your body time to process the nutrients while you eat. Simply placing your fork down between bites will slow you down as an example. Set a goal for how many bites you make with each mouthful. Be mindful of how many bites you take before you swallow, right? Is it 1 to 5 bites, or can you increase it to 10 to 20? Kind of rule of thumb I've heard is that you chew your food, each mouthful, 50 times before you swallow. I know I don't. That's a really challenge, but the more you can break down your food in your mouth, the more likely the nutrients are going to get absorbed and utilized in your body later in the digestive tract, right? So be mindful. It's slowing down will ultimately give you more energy from your meal. And then when do we eat? The secret to easy weight loss and deeper, sounder sleep is to hydrate and eat more during the day and less at night, making sure that at least, a couple hours have elapsed before your last meal of the day and bedtime. So if you eat more wholesome breakfast and lunch and then reduce the intake of food later in the day, maybe a lighter meal at dinner time with no snacking after dinner is actually a perfect scenario. That will definitely make a huge difference in your sleep as well as how your body processes the food that you intake. So we've covered a lot of information during this call. Mindful choices and planning, taking time to assess how and what you eat according to your lifestyle, and looking at what couple changes can you make to your grocery list, right? Cleaning your fridge and your pantry, eliminating fake foods and adding whole food organic options is a really effective action for your gut health. And then strategies for healthier shopping, filling that grocery cart with good alternatives by finding healthier versions of what's on your list. Take your list, look at it, and then when you're in the store, seek to find a healthier version of 1 or 2 of those items. And then also how and when we eat. making some choices, being mindful of how we chew and when, and how relaxed we are when we're eating our meals. Our goal is to take the confusion out of getting healthy and being vibrant. And what we know is that good health begins in the gut. By cleaner eating, we can achieve the three things that we must do to achieve good health. And that is removing the inflammation, restoring our gut health, and repairing the damaged cells at a cellular level. And we can do that by making cleaner choices when we're eating clean, as we would say. So if you'd like any of the lists or documents on this call, please contact the person who invited you to this call and we'll get them to you. Remember, just a closing tip, keep things simple. Make 1 or 2 changes when you shop. Health is a lifestyle cultivated over time with new habits. Thank you and have a happy gut healthy day.